Very first thing you do before you start taking the cover off, you drain the oil out. I have the motorcycle on a stand. It's vertical on my swing arm support stand. The bolt is actually up under here. It's a 17 millimeter. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, meanwhile, well, that's draining down there. Also, what I have too is I have a magnetic parts tray. These things come in handy. So while we're waiting for this to dry, we're going to disconnect the clutch cable from the cover. First, what you want to do is you want to go up to your handle and you want to put some slack in it. You want to go up to your clutch lever, put some slack in it. Then by using a 12 millimeter, we'll lift up in this bolt and disconnect it from the bracket. Okay, now with the what I had to do is I had to take my bracket off in order to lift up on the clutch line. What I also did too is I took my foot peg off. You may be able to, you could take the cover off without taking the foot peg off. But for me it's easier just to remove it. We're going to take off all these bolts now, and they require an 8 millimeter socket. Okay, now with all your bolts removed, position your drip pan. What I have is I have like a little kitty litter pan here that's has to be clean. You know, there's no kitty litter in it. But I have an old kidney pan or a parts pan, you know, or even like a dishwater pan. Move it over, because once you take the cover off, you're going to have oil dripping out. Mine comes off pretty easy because I've had this off a bunch of times. Or at least it did before. Actually, I forgot to take a bolt out. I'm lucky I didn't break the cover. Now this little part here that might come off on you, this goes right in here. 9 out of 10 times it falls out. Let me show you the inside of the cover, how it grabs onto the clutch. See this little hickey right here? That's what pushes this in and out. So basically, see that little thing there? That's spring loaded. That's what pushes your springs in. That's what actuates it. It does come off. Now, in order for you to put it back in, you got to lift up on that, and it pops right in. So we'll do it again. We'll take it off. Okay. Always make sure that's in before you put this back on. Clean our gasket off, and we'll start taking that off. Now when you take this plate off, a lot of guys break this because this is made out of aluminum. let me see, that is a 10mm socket. What you want to do when you take these off, you want to give each one an equal turn. Because these can't be repaired. Now this bearing does come out. You won't lose the needle bearings, but that bearing does come out of here. It will pop right out. Okay. And just make sure it's clean, and it goes right back in. Take our springs out. Now, I already had this out, so this comes out pretty easy. This is torqued down to 34 foot-pounds. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put the bike in gear. You're going to want to lock up your rear tire with your brakes, adjust your rear shoes, so that it locks up the rear tire. Plus, the rear tire has to be in gear. Plus, your motorcycle front wheel should be against something like a wall. Then there's like these are actually the factory. If you never had this off before, they're a bear to get off, guys. They're a real son of a bitch to get off. That's why I broke my plate the first time getting this off. The factory gets a center punch, and you'll see two center punch marks here where they bend the metal in. You're going to have to bend that back out. I already did mine. This little tool here, I'll give you guys a link for the tool. See, like an idiot, I didn't put mine in gear, which I should have, but I'm an idiot. I forgot to put it in gear, which probably not what I'm going to have to do, since it's not in gear, is I'm going to have to put everything together without tightening this, because it's got to be close to 34 foot-pounds. And then I got to put it in gear, and then take the cover back off to be able to torque this down. Because I'm stupid. Got that off. Then there's a little like a little washer after that. Well, let me pause you guys. I'm going to bring you guys over to the table. I'll let you see the clutch with the clutch apart. Okay, I got the washer off. Take this off. Now there's also can't get that bastard out now. Come off with no problem before. Before you put the basket on, This goes against the, that goes against the engine. This should not come off on you. In order to take this off, you got to get that guy there off. So as long as that's not damaged, don't try to fix it. But trust me guys, that spanner nut is not going to come off that easy for you. It's going to be really tough to get off. You just might give up on taking it off. Whatever you do, don't try to make a tool like I did to hold these, because you will break this. The best way to do that is to put the motorcycle against the front wheel against the wall, have it in first gear, adjust that rear shoe so that it locks up your rear tire, and use a breaker bar with that little tool I showed you. I'll give you a link to the little tool. They're like $12. I got mine on Amazon, and I don't make any money off the links. I don't make any money off link commissions, and it will come off. Now let me show you guys the clutch basket. See, this is the repair here. Did you see I'm not pulling no bullshit? This does hold. I showed you guys in the last video how I did this. And there you have it. Now you will have your very first ring. Your very first metal ring will have these lines in it. Make sure you put this one on first, because they get the lines from this ring here. You see it's tapered a little bit. Then there's another one that I can't get out because it's stuck in with oil. There's a flat one. It goes in here. That one goes on first. Then the tapered one goes on with the tapered going into here. Then you take your metal ring that has that line in it, that score, and that goes on first. Then it's just, your first metal ring with a score, then a friction plate, then a metal ring, etc., etc. Okay, now what I have to do, I got to put my clutch cover back on 2 times, because the moron forgot to put it in freaking gear like I'm telling you guys to do. I'll never learn. I'm a glutton for punishment.